Hello, Sadaka here. So this is the first video in my Akadawa series workshop. I want to be able to provide you guys with exercises and methodology to actually work with this stuff, because I know that probably the thing I get asked the most after people take the Akadawa transmission is there a book? And there are. There's a couple books out there, but people are still aching for, yearning for, longing for, pining for a sort of like a school type, workshop, or something to study, material, and then an exercise that they buckle down and perform. So this is what the entire series is about. I want to give you guys lots of methods to use this stuff, and I'm going to try to keep the videos short. That way you can just focus on that one thing at that one time. The first and most important thing to focus on in any type of energy work is, of course, intention. And this is, I think, where a lot of Western minds get a little wary of this stuff, because everything is done on the inside, everything is done using your mind, and we tend to devalue things that we only do with our minds. We think that they're not real. Oh, it's just all in your head. Yeah, it's all in my head, and this is not. There's no difference. Like, why do people think that something that you only do in your head has less value? And it's because they can't see it, they can't prove it to themselves with their eyes, whatever. But most people know that most people who do this kind of work, who have experimented with Reiki or Qigong or meditation in the past, know that the stuff that you do in your head is actually the most important stuff. So, this whole series, I'm not here to try and tell you, that this stuff is real, but I'll try to keep giving you reminders that you're not just making it up. And it was like, oh, this stuff is just all in my head, and this is the important stuff. Then it's just, why can't I just figure it out myself, or I don't need any instruction or whatever. A lot of people will have that attitude, but most people are willing to just try it. And you probably wouldn't be taking this course if you didn't believe that. So the most important thing in any of this, in any energy work, in any energetic system, healing system like Reiki, the Akadawa, quantum touch, etc., is intention. In the Taoist sense, this is referred to as Yi, Y-I, and it's probably what I work with the most, in the sense that it is the thing that you will use, a power of your mind, to direct energy. This is what's being used when energy healers will give you that common phrase, energy goes, or energy flows where mind goes, or energy goes where mind goes, whatever it is. And they're absolutely right. I think that it's a little skewed, and it's a little watered down when it's put into things like manifestation work, because you're saying constantly that what you think about is what you manifest. And yet, even in those systems like the Abraham Hicks stuff and all of that, they don't say that you can manifest what you want just by lightly thinking about it for a little while. So I like to tell people that, just because I think that people get a little too caught up in the idea, oh, thoughts create reality, therefore I have to have perfect thoughts all the time, and then they get super paranoid about what they're thinking. You can think about whatever you want, as long as you're not dwelling on it and focusing on it and intending for those things to happen, then it's not going to be enough energy for anything to manifest. When you're dealing with energy in general, and you're dealing with a more pure system of just working with energy and just moving energy, whether it's bodily chi, whether it's the Akadawa, whether it's Reiki or anything, you really only have the energy and your intention. You could say that you have a will to move that energy, or to use that energy, or to work with that energy in a certain fashion, but the will is more like the behind the scenes force that's necessary to to have the empowerment, to have the power to use your intention to move energy. If you don't have that will, then you just be like, I don't care anyway. So will is sort of like, to me, a more force behind intention, whereas intention is like the active principle. All right, what do you want the energy to do? That's where we will start right now. What do you want the energy to do when you're first starting? Not even when you're first starting, but this is the only place that you can go when you're first starting. uh, Whether it's the Akadowa or Reiki or anything, although this is obviously going to be specifically geared towards the Akadowa. uh, the only thing that really matters, and the only thing that you really have at the very beginning, is intention. You have the energy, you've taken the transmission, that means it's in your system and you're allowed to work with it. Not allowed, but you know what I mean. Uh, and you have what you want to do with that energy. So that's your intention. So at the very beginning, all you really should do is intend for it to activate. A lot of people I see will use this mudra. You've seen me use this a lot. This is a variation on a lot of things, and I'll describe it in a couple ways. The most simple way I'll describe it is that there are energy circuits, called the meridians, shooting through the body in all kinds of different ways and patterns, and this center one along the middle finger goes to the heart and that kind of thing. And you can study a lot of different systems that say this finger is associated with that and this finger is associated with this, and by connecting them you're doing that, and then it doesn't really matter other than like which system you use and how you conceptualize it. All this is saying is that this is now a closed circuit. All of these circuits are connected and closed, and everything inside of your body is sort of coalescing together and building up together. You're not going to find any circuits that are like, whoa, man, like two highways going the same direction and now we're not supposed to be. They're all, how can I put it? They can go either direction. And when you do something like this, let's say I have the first finger over here, and that's one circuit of energy, and I have the ring finger over here, and that's another circuit of energy. At first, those things might feel really funny, and then they start flowing, and you get a sort of combined circuit of those two energies. You can do that with any of them, and this is a sort of finger alchemy that you can do with mudras, and I recommend that you do that all the time, actually. Every single one, make different combinations, see what they feel like, and you'll be really ramping up your system in like some really important ways. So this connects all of them. If you go like this, get really high, then I tend to feel the energy kind of coming to a point. If you round them, then you try to have really good connections at the tips of the fingers and sort of stretch it out, then you will find that your energy system in general responds by sort of stretching out. There's a little bit of tension, as it tends to be more of an active type mudra, as opposed to just really perhaps loose or something like that. And as you hold this mudra, you get used to it. Just maybe sit with it by itself for a little while and just feel your system relax. Relax the seat that you're sitting on, your buttocks, relax your legs, maybe move your feet around so that they're in better position so that energy can just flow downward. If you want to do relaxation exercise, I'm really not going to spend too much time with it because all relaxation exercises are essentially the same. You should do this before any of these practices. Always do it before you start any of these workshops. You basically just scan your body and say, you know what, scalp, relax. It might seem difficult at first, or that you're talking to certain areas of your body and being like, okay, I didn't know that that was tense. First of all, now you're telling me to relax it. How do I do that? But it's just basically paying attention, awareness, scanning, intending. There's intention again. Relax, Let it happen and move throughout your entire body. You can do this as much as possible. Do it before a practice, do it after a practice, do it during a practice, whatever. Relaxation is paramount to feeling energy better, right? So a lot of people also ask me, how do I feel the energy? Well, how do I feel the energy of this table? How do I feel the texture of it? I have to touch it. So you just do it. And yet, most people don't know, okay, well, I'm trying to feel energy already. Well, where is the energy? Let's say it's beyond that little threshold of actual physical touch. And so you put your awareness just beyond your physical touch. Put your awareness around the hands, put your awareness around whatever you're sending energy to. Maybe it's another person. Try and feel that field. You might feel hot, cold, tingles, all kinds of different sensations that are happening. If you want to convince yourself that it's not blood, then just moving through your hands, oh, I feel tingles, it must be chi, then go like this a little bit and get the blood out of your hand, and then hold your hands like this and experiment with chi that way. Um, so, yeah. So to get back to the very beginning, mudra, let energy build, and then intend. I activate the Akadua. We will have your awareness on nothing but your intention at this point. You are doing nothing but intending and causing energy to activate. Mudra, let it build at some point or another. I intend for the Akadua to activate. There is no question of where. There is no question of what does it feel like yet. You are aware. You are paying attention to the energy that might be activated within your body or outside of your body or however you're experiencing it. I'm not going to put any pins. We're not pigeonholing this experience yet. This is just open. Intend. I activate the Akadua. Relax. Sense what the energy feels like in here. You might start to feel it expand, and then it changes a little bit. You might start to feel your elbows raise. You might start to feel more of the connection with either the heart space and want to hold it here, or perhaps down here to the lower dantian space, or the space in the middle of the belly, and want to hold the mudra down there. This is actually a Taoist mudra. This is the Yang mudra for building energy in any of the dantian. This is the Yin mudra, so it's the opposite of that. So you're just doing index and ring, and the other ones are out. And so that's more for a yin, soft flow, allowing energy to move and flow, whereas this is like allowing it to, causing it to build and build and build, a little more pressure. So, holding the mudra, we're super relaxed. Intend, I activate the Akadua, and then just pay attention. Pay attention to your headspace, how that feels. You'll start to notice energy in different ways. Pay attention to your chest space. After you've intended for quite a while and just sat with the idea and the intention, I am activating the Akadua. You can phrase it however you want. Akadua activate! Akadua flow, or whatever it is that whatever phrase really evokes something for you, and you're saying, okay, this is what my intention means, and then just hold it. Your intention is not words, it is an idea. It's almost like an urge or a feeling. If you can connect that thought and those words and that intention to that feeling, then all you have to do is feel the feeling. Does that make sense? So all high magic, in essence, is taking an intention, even if it's a laundry list of intentions, and condensing it down into one thing that can be easily worked with. So that can be a symbol or a sigil. In this case, we're only using the powers of the mind, And so whatever my intentions are, in this case, keeping it simple, I am activating the Akadwa, or the Akadwa flows from every chakra in my body, or something, that really speaks to us. And then taking that and turning it into a feeling or a thought with no words attached to it, just a singular intention, and using that to propel the energy forward. Okay? I don't know if it's sounding difficult. I don't know if I'm making it clear. Feedback, feedback, feedback. Let me know, let me know, let me know. This is an interactive workshop, so while I am obviously not speaking to you live, you absolutely have not just the option, I want you to, I wish you to contact me during your working with these workshops so that you can get good information. Like, you said this and it didn't make any sense to me, explain it. Then I will explain it to you. Or just some feedback and like, could you elucidate that a bit? So that's all we're working on for this. Intending. There's nothing else in my head but that one intention. The Akadua activates. That's almost in a passive way, which might be better because it's like, I'm not saying that it's activating within my body. I'm not necessarily looking for it within my body. I'm just looking for it. So my particular experience has always been that the Akagawa starts to like well up from inside of me and then move slowly out like honey or amber. Um, your experience might be a little different, but that's usually what I'm looking for. And so as I'm sitting here and I'm feeling energy, I'm just intending that it activate, I'm intending that it activate, I'm intending that it activate. I'm pretty adept, so I can start to feel where it's moving things around my regular field and starting to push out this very strong field of Akadwa energy. So, another step that you can do during this exercise is that after you've intended, pure intention, nothing else, not directing it, not trying to make it do anything, not having any purpose behind the intention other than it is activating. Then after you feel like you've really felt something, then open your hands and allow that energy to start to flow a different way. And you might start to notice pressure around your hands. You might start to notice steamy things, building off of your hands, off of your fingers now that you've released. You might start to notice just a sudden like whoa, like flow, like whooshy sensation. Now all of that energy that you were concentrating, building up within you is going whoa. Now I can flow out to the rest of the system. Now I can flow out to the systems around me, and then I'm gonna make another video about posture, and that'll be in the next one. But for this one, just find a position for your hands. Might be like this in front of the middle dantian or the heart space. It might be like this. This is a real powerful mudra to use. Directs energy forward, but it also makes a very direct connection to the heart space, which is sort of like this infinite channel. It's not really pushing it out, or it's not really sucking it in. It's just opening the channel and making it clear. This is also fire. Experiment just a little bit. Again, not pushing it anywhere, not trying to do anything. If your hands feel like moving, allow them to flow. This is an interesting thing that happens when people work with the Akadua, is they just try to be aware of it in their great, auric field in general, and allow it to just do what it does. I've got the controller mentality all the time when I'm trying to do energy work, and so I'm constantly going, yeah, but I can move it over here, but maybe they've got a problem with their throat chakra, and I can move it up there, and we're gonna do that, and it's like, that's the mind, that's the monkey mind, always trying to do something better, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. I want people to have a good experience, and yet that's not the point. The point is just to activate the energy. Energy knows where it needs to goes, and then let it flows. Ooh, we rhymed. And you will find that it goes exactly where it needs to go. And you will find that you are more adept at moving energy than you might have realized, because it just does itself. It just goes by itself. Okay, so I'm going to stop that. This is the video on intention, obviously, using that intention, that mind power, to get the Akaduwa to start flowing, to get it to start activating. Non-specific. Okay, you don't even have to do the mudra. That's just to make the experience a little more palpable, a little more obvious to you. So, if you don't even want to do that, just sit. Back up. Spine like a mountain. Very Taoist, very yoga. Get into that posture, get into that alignment. Relax everything. Want to be completely straight and completely strong, but completely relaxed. Is it a contradiction? No. So get into that good state, alignment, and then back up your field of vision as much as possible and allow your peripheral vision to just expand. This is when, or like me, I have a window right in front of me right here. It's not very convenient for allowing this stuff to expand because it's blocking my field of vision. You want to be open and expansive. You want to be able to see out to the sides, whoa, just as much as you're seeing everything in front of you. You are focusing on nothing in general, on nothing in particular. You are allowing everything in general to just seep into your field of vision. Just like not directing the Akaduwa anywhere, just intending that it is opened or that it is activated. When you're doing this exercise, you're not focusing on any one thing. You're not looking at any one thing. You're just being aware. A lot of times, simply seeing open eyes brightens consciousness. We're very connected to the eyes. They are an immediate channel, an immediate feedback loop to whatever you're looking at. And so if you can just look at nothing and have all the experience and all the vision and all the light come into your eyes at once, into your field at once, or whatever, that tends to allow, in a relaxed way, consciousness to remain bright, to remain burning, and to expand. And as we have that yang aspect of consciousness, it feeds back into the Akaduwa, and the Akaduwa will get stronger, and it will eventually start to take us into trance-like states. Okay, so I'm going to stop here, continue working with those. See, write things down, see if there's anything that you need from me that you want to know more about, specifically with intention, getting the Akaduwa to activate. If anything doesn't make sense, just ask me. Okay.